say we're able to get to that space, right? Like the movement that happens with AI and with just technology, which will advance quicker, I think, which is one thing that AI feels like to me, it's a fast forward button on technology and on possibility, because information can be quantified so quick, and a lot of like more menial tasks, even though they're not really menial in people's lives, but menial hypothetically can be done quicker to get a lot of the framework for things done fast. But how will people survive? Like,
that's what I thought was going to happen with automation, was that all the bullshit, the ditch diggers, they're out of jobs. But what we've seen is like, oh no, actually artists, you're the first to go. You're one of the first on the chopping block. And you're like, wait, I thought these people were going to be the ones the creative pursuits will be the ones that will be safe from this kind of stuff, because a robot can't take that job away from you. But you can take a menial task like ditch digger. It's like, oh, nope, that's the first one to go.
Adjust our structure of finance, of like, if some people own the companies that have the AI, and then a lot of people are just using the AIs and the agents created by AIs to do things for them. How will society, like societal members, still be able to financially survive? Will there still be money? What is that? Does that make any sense, that question?
It totally makes sense.
Okay, sorry.
I don't know.
Totally
Neither does anybody else, but I'll tell you my current best guess.
Okay.
Well, I'll say two guesses. One, I think it is possible that we put, GPT-7 or whatever in everybody's ChatGPT. Everybody gets it for free. And everybody has access to just this like crazy thing, such that everybody can be more productive, make way more money. It doesn't actually matter that you don't like own the cluster itself, but everybody gets to use it. Mm-hmm. And it turns out even getting to use it is enough that people are like getting richer faster and more distributed than ever before. That could happen. I think that really is possible. There's another version of this where the most important things that are happening are these systems are discovering, new cures for diseases, new kinds of energy, new ways to make spaceships, whatever. And most of that value is accruing to the like cluster owners, us, just so that I'm not dodging the question here. And then I think society will very quickly say,
you admitted it. That's me.
We got to have some new economic model where we share
Altman is gay.
That to people.
So is Peter Thiel.
I used to be really excited about things like UBI. I still kind of.
Altman just had a baby. He just had a baby boy. I think it was a boy. He just had a baby. He just gave birth. Isn't that crazy?
Excited, like universal basic income, where you just give everybody money.
Yeah, you hear that term a lot. Yeah, universal basic income. Yeah, I heard you and Rogan talk about that too a while back.
I still am kind of excited about that, but I think people really need agency. Like they really need to feel like they have a voice in governing the future and deciding where things go. And I think if you just like say, okay, AI is going to do everything, and then everybody gets like a, dividend from that, it's not going to feel good. And I don't think it actually would be good for people. So I think we need to find a way where we're not just like, if we're in this world, where we're not just distributing money or wealth. Like actually, I don't just want like a check every month. What I would want is like a ownership share in whatever the AI creates, so that I feel like I'm participating in this thing that's going to compound and get more valuable over time. So I sort of like universal basic.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
Universal basic income. And I think I don't like basic either. I want like universal.
What do you mean participating in AI? What are you participating? What is the average? What is Billy Bob down at the corner store right now? How is he going to participate in ChatGPT 7? You're going to say you have ownership in this. So what does that really mean though? Like people, like there is like a level at which people feel, they like to feel needed and feel like they can achieve and do and work, right? There's work there. But like, what work is Billy Bob at the corner store going to have? What is he going to be able to do? By just using it? Is that what? Hey, I have a stake in this and I'm using it. What? How is that going to feel fulfilling at all? It's literally this. It's like no different than you just giving him a check, like UBI, what he was just saying. Like he's going to feel just the same amount as fulfilled. Like I just was given some bullshit.
Extreme wealth for everybody. But even then, like I think what people really want is the agency to kind of co-create the future together. And in a world where it's like the AI is mostly coming up with the new scientific inventions, at least we've got to still have humans like invent the new culture and have that be a very distributed thing.
Okay, I guess I see what you're saying, but would that be like an American thing? Do you think, like since
But they're making it sound like Billy Bob down the street is adding to something greater when he's really just feeding into the machine. Absolutely. Like, that's absolutely what it is. It's like, we own it. We're the creators of it. We alter it. We do everything with it. You have a share in it, a stake in it of some sort, but like you don't do anything to it because really Billy Bob doesn't, I mean, he's trying his best. Come on. Billy Bob's trying his best. He knows how to get the pack of Marlboros from the high shelf, but he doesn't know how to program ChatGPT any better than it already is.
it were invented here, or do you think? I'm just wondering, what does that look like? You know,
The economic model of it all, or the whole thing?
yeah, or is there a dividend of the company that's then is divided up between the masses, sort of?
I mean, a crazy idea, but in the spirit of crazy ideas, is that if the world, there's like roughly 8 billion people in the world, if the world can generate like 8 quintillion tokens per year, if that's the world, or let's say the world can generate 20 quintillion tokens per year.
Tokens of
Like each word generated by an AI.
okay,
Just making up a huge number here.
Okay.
We'll say, okay, 12 of those go to, the normal capitalistic system, but 8 of those, 8 quintillion tokens, are going to get divided up equally among 8 billion people. So everybody gets 1 trillion tokens. And that's your kind of universal basic wealth globally. And people can sell those tokens. Like if I don't need mine, I can sell them to you. We could pool ours together for some like new art project we want to do. But
So class mobility and the middle class are gone, right? It is the creators of the AI and then all you peons that we give to. We've brought back kind of feudal lords, but on a global scale now. Isn't that great? That sounds like a great idea, guys.
But instead of just like getting a check, everybody on Earth is getting like a slice of the world's AI capacity, and then we're letting the like massively distributed human ingenuity and creativity and economic engine do its thing. I mean, that's like a crazy idea. Maybe it's a bad one, but that's the kind of thing that I think sounds like someone should think about it more.
Someone. Bro, it's you. You're the someone. You're the one who's just trudging forward with this shit. You're not thinking about this? You should have a whole ass freaking team of people thinking about this shit if you really cared about it.
What's like one of your fears? Like, what's a fear you have of AI? Like, if you have like a fearful space that it could go. Like, I know you mentioned it a little bit.
This morning, I was testing our new model, and I got emailed a question that I didn't quite understand. And I put it in the model, this GPT-5, and it answered it perfectly. And I really kind of sat back in my chair, and I was just like, oh man, here it is moment. And I got over it quickly. I got busy onto the next thing. But it was like, it's what kind of we were talking about. I felt like useless relative to the AI and this thing that I felt like I should have been able to do and I couldn't, and it was really hard, but the AI just did it like that.
Yeah.
It was a weird feeling.
But that's not going to be an ability that he will be able to do because he'll just always outsource it to this thing. He's never going to learn how to actually figure out the problem of, okay, there's people who are skilled at that kind of stuff, finding the answer to something, even just on the internet, even something with the internet. It's like there's people who have that skill of being able to like look in the right places, type in the right stuff. But it's like now that's not going to be a thing anymore. You're just going to outsource to this program, and that's that.
Yeah, I think that feeling right there, that's the feeling a lot of people kind of have, like, when does it happen? What's going to happen? But I think some of it is, it's like, it's hard to conceptualize until you're further along.
Totally. I don't think we know quite how that's going to feel. You just have to like...
They never do.
Step by step.
They
Another
never
thing
know
I'm afraid of-
what's going to happen. They just keep doing. And it's like, do we ever stop to say, well, maybe we shouldn't? No, they just say, can we? And if we can, we're going to do it.
And we had a real problem with this earlier, but it can get much worse, is just what this is going to mean for users' mental health. There's a lot of people that talk to ChatGPT all day long. There are these sort of new AI companions that people talk to like they would a girlfriend or a boyfriend. And we were talking earlier about how it's probably not been good for kids to like grow up like on the dopamine hit of scrolling
Yeah,
TikTok
for
or
sure.
Reels or whatever.
Yeah, do you think that how do you keep like AI from having that same effect, like that negative effect that social media really has had?
I'm scared of that. I don't have an answer yet. I don't think we know quite
thank
the
you.
ways in which it's going to have those negative impacts.
Thank you.
But I
Thank you
feel
for telling us
sure
you're
it's going to
scared
have
of
some,
that.
and we'll have to. I hope we can learn to mitigate it quickly.
Can AIs can they pull up pornography and stuff like that too, or no?
Sure.
Oh my God. God, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
No, it's fine.
Exactly.
I
That's
just-
a great,
yeah. I
good
don't even need to
reaction.
know that. I'm
Sam
gonna
is
strike
like,
from my own record.
fuck yeah, I can pull up
What
porn.
legal system does AI have to work by? Is there like
He's
a
excited
legal,
about it.
Like, are there like we have laws like in the world, right? Like in the human world, does
I was
AI
about to
have
say
to
some
work
shit,
by
but I'm
any
not.
like legal laws? You know?
Yeah, so I think we will certainly need a legal or a policy framework for AI. One example that we've been thinking about a lot, this is like maybe not quite what you're asking, this is like a very human-centric version of that question. People talk about the most personal shit in their lives to ChatGPT. It's, people use it, young people especially, like use it as a therapist, a life coach, having these relationship problems.
Hans in chat says, I feel our souls will fight against AI as it's the only part of us that lives outside of raw information. Yeah, I've been saying that too, man. It's one of the only things you can't sit there and quantify, but it is absolutely real. And this is why none of these people are religious. They don't even come close to operating like it. Peter Thiel comes out and struts out the Christian bullshit. He quotes scripture, but behind the scenes, he's taking it in the ass. And he's I'm sorry, but sorry for the for the imagery there, but like he doesn't give a shit about Christian morality or Christian values. He'll talk about it, but it doesn't really, whatever, man. And that absolutely human consciousness, these kinds of immaterial, almost illogical aspects of humanity, you cannot replicate it with a computer. But we've based so much of our society on the logical kind of empirical data of what does the data tell us? How does this? We've totally moved on from any sort of metaphysical kind of philosophy, sort of religion, sort of any of this type of stuff. The mystical. We've moved on from that in our society, and we're just to the point data. And it's like this is a logical conclusion of that is that you totally throw that away, and you start to ask the questions, well, we're just going to replace humans and humanity as a whole. And you go, well, that's a logical conclusion. Yeah, that makes sense.
What should I do? And right now,
all right, you said look at Buttigieg and Altman side by side. All right. Okay, dude. You're banned in chat. That was a joke. Wait a minute. Maybe a little bit. Maybe like his cousin, maybe. Maybe they are cousins. Are they related? Maybe I don't see anything for it, but I haven't looked too hard into it, so I'll have to do some research. Do some research on that one.
talk to a therapist or a lawyer or a doctor about those problems, there's like legal privilege for it. Like there's doctor-patient confidentiality, there's legal confidentiality, whatever. And we haven't figured that out yet for when you talk to ChatGPT. So if you go talk to ChatGPT about your most sensitive stuff and then there's like a lawsuit or whatever, like we could be required to produce that. And I think that's very screwed up. I think we should have like the same concept of privacy for your conversations with AI that we do with a therapist or whatever. And no one had to think about that even a year ago. And now I think it's this huge issue of like, how are we going to treat the laws around this?
Well, do you think there should be like kind of like a slowing things down before we move there, kind of? Because that is kind of wild. It's one of the reasons I get scared sometimes to use certain AI stuff because I don't know how much personal information I want to put in because I don't know who's going to have it.
I think we need this point addressed with some urgency. And the policymakers I've talked to about it like broadly agree. It's new and now we got to do it quickly. Do you talk to ChatGPT?
I don't talk to it that much.
Because of this.
I think it is. It's because it's like
I think it makes sense.
To not talk to ChatGPT. Because
No. To like really want the privacy clarity before you use it a lot.
Yeah.
Like the legal clarity.
Yeah, it's scary. And it's like, well, how long does it take lawmakers to come up with that? And then it feels like it's moving so fast that it's like it doesn't even matter. That sometimes it's like it doesn't even really matter. It's like, are we even waiting for the laws to be put around this, or what's going on? Does it feel like it's moving too fast for you sometimes?
The last few months have felt very fast. It feels faster and faster, but the last few months have felt very fast.
Yeah, I was watching this guy.
So fast.
Yoshua Bengio?
Joshua Bengio.
Joshua Bengio. And he's kind of like, some people call him the father of
was that
AI.
guy?
He may be self-proclaimed. I'm not really sure. But he certainly seemed to be kind of like a lifeguard.
Was my real quick. Is this guy Jewish, Chad? Is this guy Jewish? Joshua Bengio. I'm gonna say yes. What do you guys think, chat? Betsy Baggett says yes. Canadian, French Canadian, dude. I got this like plug in here. It's driving me crazy. Ding 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 ding. Betsy Baggins, you win the GR award of the day. I asked if this guy was Jewish, and you could tell me yes. He is. He's a French Canadian. Not that hey, not that means anything or anything.
Bengio. And he's kind of like, some people
yeah.
call him the father of AI. He may be self-proclaimed. I'm not really sure. But he certainly seemed to be kind of like a lifeguard for AI, like thinking about like, well, how do we keep the pool safe? How much water should be in it? The chlorine, how many lifeguards do you need on duty? That type of thing, hypothetically. And he said, and he was saying that some AIs, they have like deception techniques inside of them, like that. There were AIs that would rather give you an answer that was possibly pleasing to the user than to give them the factual answer.
Give them that feedback.
And then he was also saying that there were AIs that were developing some of their own languages to communicate with each other, which would be languages that we don't even know. What is that? How do you guys curtail that when those types of things come up? What does that even kind of feel like to you guys? Or are these just problems that happen in new spaces and you figure it out as you go?
There are these moments in the history of science where you have a group of scientists look at their creation and just say, what have we done? Maybe it's great, maybe it's bad, but what have we done? Like maybe the most iconic example is thinking about the scientists working on the Manhattan Project in 1945, sitting there watching the Trinity test and just, this thing that had, it was a completely new, not human scale kind of power, and everyone knew it was going to reshape the world. And I do think people working on AI have that feeling in a very deep way. We just don't know. Like, we think it's going to be great. There's clearly real risks. It kind of feels like you should be able to say something more than that. But in truth, I think all we know right now is that we have discovered, invented, whatever you want to call it, something extraordinary that is going to reshape the course of human history.
Dear God, man. But if you don't know, we don't know.
Well, of course. I mean, I think no one can predict the future. Like, human society is very complex. This is an amazing new technology. Maybe a less dramatic example than the atomic bomb is when they discovered the transistor a few years later.
The transistor radio?
The
transistor
little
atom?
transistor part that, made computers and radios and everything else. But we discovered this completely new thing that enabled the whole computer revolution and is in this microphone and those computers and our iPhones. And like, the world would be so different if people had not discovered that and then over the decades figured out how to make them smaller and more efficient. And now we don't even think about it because the transistors are just in everything. We have all this modern technology from that one scientific discovery. And I do think that's what AI is going to be like. We had this one crazy scientific discovery that led to these language models we all use now. And that is going to change the course of society in all kinds of ways. And of course, we don't know what they all are.
Damn. I was hoping you knew by the end of that sentence. Or I was hoping you would, like that's what because we don't know. Like that's, I think, the tough thing.
There's no time in human history at the beginning of a century where the people ever knew what the end of the century was going to be like.
Yeah.
So maybe and I do think it goes faster and faster each century. It's certainly like, in 1900, you couldn't have predicted what 2000 was going to be like. I think in 2000, you could even less predict what 2100 was going to look like. But that's kind of why it's exciting. And like,
Yeah.
that's kind of why people get to figure out and unfold the story as we go.
It's kind of bizarre because there's a part of me that's like, this guy's out of his mind. This guy is a wild wizard. You know, there's a couple different things. But then there's also this part of me that's like, this guy is this hopeful guy who's like involved in this crazy space. And he kind of has this whimsical energy about the future,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
what I-
in a crazy
Whimsical,
way.
that's what I would call it.
A nice energy to have about the future generally is that something could happen or that things are possible. So it just, it's all kind of like, I don't know, it's fascinating. It's definitely fascinating to me.